Hey, welcome back to the Anchorage, and this is SATURQuest. Hey, welcome on back, and we are just doing instead of doing an Odin quest, because that is for releases on Wednesdays, I'm doing one called SATURQuest, so, because today is Saturday. So, it's basically just a basic vlog of sorts, of what's going on sometimes, what I've got going on, stuff like that. It's just a general vlog of sorts. So, but what we have going on in Linux Mint world? Yeah, now Linux Mint is the Linux distribution that I like to use, um, and more so the Debian edition. So anything that's really happening on the OG Linux Mint, which is the Ubuntu-based version, I really don't have much concern about it. I mean, I do use it on the Mint book, but I'm looking at possibly trying to tweak it a little bit so that I can actually boot it off of the eMMC drive, because that is actually a chip that's soldered to the motherboard, and it's only 15 gigs. It used to be a Chromebook, go figure. So I'm gonna try to tweak it so that I can boot from an actual hard drive, from an SSD. One of the ones that I used to use for my Raspberries as a file server. Those are 500 gigabytes each, and I could technically run LMDE off of that and be happy as, whatever. Pigs with wings, you name it. I don't care. Whatever. Uh, so, but you know, looking at the blog, and with developments and news that's happening on the main Linux Mint channels, the Ubuntu-based one, some of that functionality, sometimes it bleeds over and ends up on Debian edition uh sometime after that, like a month or two, maybe. I don't know. It depends on whatever the product is that they're working on. So yeah, if we happen to come over to it, and here we have it. And this is the monthly October news. So there we are. They have this thing called Romeo. Now, it talks about the releases a little bit. And Romeo happens to be an unstable release, and because they've got different types of things. The Debian edition, which is basically it's driven off of Toy Story characters. We are now at Debian. Well, those are the Debian releases, named after toys from Toy Story, and in this movie, there's a child who breaks toys. His name is Sid. So Debian named its unstable releases after him, because Sid breaks toys. Sid breaks Debian. So this is where the unstable software goes. It's usually best for testing and things of that sort. And then they go on, and then this is Debian itself. This is just the main base software that they're going with. And then what Mint does is that it uses its own naming scheme on their releases. Linux Mint Debian Edition 6, which is what I'm running on Solaria, that is named Fay, because they're at F. The previous one, Linux Mint 5, or Debian Edition 5, was named Elsie. So there we go. And I forget the ones prior to that, because it's been a couple of years. Out of mind. So we have, they're talking about Romeo. Now, Romeo is, I wouldn't necessarily say it's unstable, but it is good for testing. It's not recommended to use this unless you want to help test unstable software at the risk of experiencing regressions and possible package conflicts. So basically, it's ideally a testing release. So it's almost kind of like SID, from what I'm reading and things of that sort. So if you want to use that and help test it out, go ahead and do that. I don't recommend putting it on real hardware. I recommend a virtual machine because, if something breaks and you can't seem to get it back to where it was, you can just delete the virtual machine as a whole and build a whole new one. So they're working on another application called Hypnotics. It is a video application, and they're preparing for releasing it with Linux Mint 21.3 at around Christmas time, so towards the end of December, and they're working on that. So myself, I don't have any concern with it. Because I'm Debian Edition, but of course, whatever happens on Ubuntu will happen to port over to Debian Edition at some point thereafter. So, channels will be saved as favorites, so that's an option or a functionality that they're going to be putting in there, and talking about favorite channels, and to ensure that the 2B channels continue to work. When a particular 2B package is outdated, they added the ability for, I'll call it the H word, to download and update its own local version of 2B dip. I'm going to call it 2B dip. So there we go. Linux Mint is also starting to work on Wayland. Now, Wayland is it's a replacement of the Windows system to a degree, because of we've been using X11 for years at this point, and it's funky, but at the same time they're starting to work on it, and they want to get it running so they can actually use it, but it's not planned for release for some time. So today they're using, let's see if I have shot right down to the bottom. Today that means Zorg for Windows, if I remember it correctly. But tomorrow it might mean Wayland will be ready and compatible with both, so we'll be able to use both. That's nice. And Cinnamon 6.0 is planned for Mint 21.3 this year, which will feature experimental Wayland support. Okay. You'll be able to select between Cinnamon, the default session running on Xorg, or Zorg, if you want to pronounce it that way, and Cinnamon on Wayland from the login screen. Myself, it doesn't really apply because I do auto login because I've got my drive encrypted. So that's me. So here we are. I have to do a login of sorts to unlock the drive. So, and that will decrypt it so I can use it. And so, that's my security. And then I just auto log in from that point because I'm in a condo in New Hampshire and I don't go anywhere. And this is a relatively safe town. And no major issues have gone on here. And so it's a pretty nice town. It's like part two of another town that I'm thinking of because I lived in that one too. And they're very much alike each other. But this one is, it's passable. So anyways, Linux Mint didn't really have anything special to really discuss. So they really didn't have much really to discuss on it, and so the just a couple of things that they've been working on, trying to get things going on, and get built up and things like that. So and then I am a Debian Edition user, and so anything that really kind of goes on the Ubuntu side, will eventually end up on the Debian Edition side, namely, like I was talking about, the Cinnamon 6 release. That's going to be coming out when 21.3 comes out around Christmas, and we can expect that to come out for Debian Edition probably within a month or so after that. So that's where my concern is, the Debian Edition stuff. So I kind of look at the stuff where the Ubuntu set is kind of like, hey, this might be coming out for Debian Edition in the future. So it's usually a pretty good chance that's going to be happening. Ubuntu side first, Debian Edition after that. And save the best for last. Yep, that's what that's all about. And we've got something really big going on. So with in the realm of Ghostbusters, a couple of years ago, the first HasLab or HasLab lab. Why did they use the word lab in the name of it? And because they have to say lab twice in it, I don't think it's moronic, but I don't think it's really all that smart. Because they'll go, oh, here's the next HasLab lab. Whatever. But anyhow, so 2 years ago, they had a HasLab. The first one for Ghostbusters, which was the Spengler's Plasma Series Spengler's Proton Pack. And I backed it. And they hit their funding goal, which was basically 7,000 backers before it would go into production. It doesn't mean that was, and how that whole process ran was, it didn't like immediately start being made. It means, okay, that's when we can start to develop it, and then we'll produce it. So basically, the project begins when the backers have met, or they've met their backer goal. In other words, we're not going to do this project at all until we have the number of backers we need in order to proceed with it. And that makes sense. In the work that I was doing and stuff like that, everything was projects. And I've taken influence from that job in doing my video channel. I actually started using the project approach that they were doing at the time, which was agile, and being a backer or a patron of Disroot, they had an application that used the agile process for project management, and they called it Taiga. It's the Taiga application. And it worked out pretty great. And of course, I couldn't use it for how it was really meant to be used, but I could actually customize it for my needs, and I did that. But they ended up deciding that it wasn't going to work out because they didn't have, I say we as if I'm part of them. Excuse me. But they, the application, the Taiga application, they determined that it wasn't necessarily being used for how it was designed to be used, and not enough people were using it. So they decided to nix it. And my whole process was done using the Kanban board in there and tasks. And fortunately, Muppeth, I think he is like the head guy of the organization, and he said, "Well, hey, over on the Nextcloud instance, we actually have an application called Deck, which is a Kanban board, and we also have a tasks application." So, and I'm like, I looked at it, and I've got my process migrated over to that method. Excuse me. And so it's been working out really great. And I actually have it here. And at some point for DiscQuest, I'll actually be covering Nextcloud, and that will I'll actually feature everything from the. I have 3 accounts. I have one for myself, one for the home or the household, and I have one for the video channel. And I use the video channel the most because of that Kanban board with cards and tasks. So, and I'll be using that as my example of the different functionalities that we have in there. That this route has in there. So, but anyways, back to Ghostbusters. So, they did that project, and which was that proton pack project, and they only needed 7,000 backers to get the project going, and they completely blew that out of the water. And they had stretch goals, basically saying, for any additional, if we get X number extra, you get a bonus, and then another bonus after that, and then another bonus after that. So 3 tiers after that, and they met them all. So, and of course, looking at a few different YouTube channels, those folks were mentioning, there were over 20,000, stuff like that. No, the precise number was 19,063. So there's that many of them out there. And of course, there's a handful extra that were made. Because, they might try to sell those extras. But the first, I'd say anywhere from the first, from the first 1 to the first 5, that Hasbro would keep for themselves. And, which is fine by my opinion. I don't care. All the items were serialized, so I've got a serialized number. I know exactly when mine, which unit mine was that was made and what year it was made. It was made at the end of 2022, and it was like 500 and something. So, and that was because I put in my order like the day after the funding campaign started. I think. I can't remember for sure. I'd have to look back at that. But we have a new one that started up yesterday, and it happens to be this guy right here. So this is, they call it 2 in the box. Now, in the original Ghostbusters side of things, you had Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Well, they're going somewhat big time on the 2 in the box with the Ghostbusters 2. And this is it. The Ghostbusters Plasma Series HasLab 2 in the box. Because the lines in the movie go, 2 in the box, ready to go. We be fast, they be slow. Yeah, and that's quoting the actual movie. Because that is a quote. I'm odd with quotes on different things. I feel the need for speed. Top Gun. Things of that sort. From Top Gun Maverick. It's been a minute. So they got the 2 in the box, Ghost Trap and PKE meter. So this is what we got. Now, this one was really interesting because I knew this was coming, or not so much these particular products, but I knew that this HasLab funding campaign was coming along, and I'm hoping it would be either a trap or a PKE meter. Hoping it was one or the other, and it didn't matter. I was going to get it, whatever it was. And they went ahead and, because it's Ghostbusters 2 in the box, play on that movie, stuff like that. Here, let's do them both. Let's make it definitely worthwhile. And they followed through. And yeah, as you can see, it's $300. Oh, $299.99. It's under $300. Whoopity doo. That's a marketing thing. It's $300. In today's day and age, with inflation and everything of that sort, $1. I mean, if this was the 1970s or the 60s, yeah, I could actually see that as being significant enough to be, yeah, it's under $300. But, marketing people are not exactly the smartest people in the world, slash stupid. But I didn't say anything. So, but anyhow, as it says down here, we got 7,217 backers so far. Now, that is as of the point of when I pulled up this page. Now, the funding campaign began yesterday afternoon. It is now 12:01 the following day on the Saturday, and they've already got 72% of the funding backers that they needed. So, and I pulled this up probably like 10 or so minutes ago, or just before I started recording. So let's refresh this. 7264. So, yeah, it's, looking at it and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, they're not going to actually, I don't think they're actually going to meet 10,000 today necessarily. They might, and they've got a really good chance of that, because when I first checked a couple hours ago, it was at 7,035, and now it's at 7,264. So they've and that's in the matter of a couple hours. So if they have this rate going on throughout the day, they will meet that 10,000 before the day is out. And if they don't, then they definitely will tomorrow, or by the end of the day tomorrow. But so what do we have coming up with it? So, you got the video. That's fun. 40 years. This is significant right here. Ghostbusters first came out in 1984. I should know. I went to the theater it wasn't my hometown, but it was the one next door, because that's where the theater was. And I saw it in the theater. And of course, the night before, I saw Poltergeist 2. And I was 10 years old. So, yeah, good movie. Did I look away a couple times? Yeah, that I did. Not so much on the scary parts, but on the grody parts. Gross. Just being like, I don't really think it's necessary, but today I don't give two fracks, but there you go. So, yeah, and of course, this year is, it's 2023 this year, but this thing will actually be coming out next year, 2024, which is 40 years after the original. Because if we go back up here, the project will run from October 27th to December 11th, and requires 10,000 back orders to begin production. Well, yeah, we're going to meet that before the end of the weekend. So, if not the end of today, but neither sense. Excuse me. We drive this campaign to the finish line. The project is estimated to ship in late fall 2024. So there we go. There's your 40 years. 2 in the box, ready to go. Yeah. We be fast. The customers be fast. But not Hasbro. Because, these things are going to be made. These things are going to be built in China. The proton packs were. And, it's like, as much as I wish that all production was done in the States, of course, where is the cheapest production cost? It's in China. So, there we go. All right, so the psychokinetic energy meter, aka the PKE meter. PKE meaning psychokinetic energy. So we've got some great pictures. Now, I saw this unit on the video yesterday from the the 1027 event, and 1027 is that stands for October 27th, and it was actually pretty significant yesterday, not just being a Friday, but it's also the original director's birthday, Ivan Reitman. And I kind of share that name. My name's Ivan, but of course I'm the French Canadian spelling, which looks like Yvonne. So there you go. So we've got the PKE meter, and we've got some great shots of it here. And it's going to have its own stand, so that's great. I bet it's going to be that flimsy plastic like the stand for the neutrino wand was. Ugh. So I'm fully expecting this to be that flimsy, bendy plastic, and not that nice, stiff stuff that the pack is made out of, or even better, that the stand is made out of. Granted, I don't have my stand, assembled, because it's such good plastic that once you get it together, it's not coming apart. So I'm in the market for another stand that I can put together. I just haven't bothered looking lately, so theirs is scanned from the actual movie prop, which is good. Both of these were real life EMF detection mode. Okay. Multi-LED display panel. Okay, now that would be, if I can find it here. If you look at my mouse here, this LED panel. It's an animated panel, so on the prop, you'll see the lights light up and go down. You'll see them go over and come up. You'll see them do whatever, stuff like that. And you can actually see some of them here on this image. This is the new mode that was actually created for the Afterlife movie in 2021, where these LEDs here light up, and of course the arms fly out like this, and then you get an electrical current coming across here. Now we're not going to get that actually here on this version, because in order to achieve the electrical arc, you need to have something like 10,000 volts, and and as far as amperage goes, I don't know what the amperage would be, but I would consider it to be considerable. But the one that's made for the actual prop, I believe it's an actual working prop, and made out of taser type stuff. And as you can see, you got the lamp there and everything like that, so you can see what you're tasing, I would assume. And then of course you've got your leads here that do the tasing. This is not going to have that functionality. It's going to have the look of it minus the actual electrical arc, because this is going to be a toy. So if you've got an electrical arc there, it's no longer a toy. And I know that there's going to be some moron that's going to be like, hey, let's actually put that in there. And somebody's going to do it. I can see that coming. Mock me. Yeah. And that's a quote from Outlander. Because the way he says it, I mean, he's got a British accent and everything like that, and it is the way that he talks. He talks like, and he says, "Mock me," and it sounds like he's trying. It's just whatever. I don't like it. Whatever. But anyhow, we've got that, and then we've got the actual ghost trap. Now this is scanned from an original trap. And when I say original trap, the actual movie prop. So there we go. And so you get the trap itself. It's it's gonna have an inner sleeve, and it's gonna have the outer sleeve, because that's how it works. And you get a pedal, which is derived off of the original prop. Now the interesting thing here is they talk about in the 1027 event yesterday that this here can go here because this is the original 1984 design, or you can remove these couple screws, take this plate off, and move it down here, and then move this plate up there to be Afterlife accurate. And I don't remember seeing that in Afterlife. I remember seeing this design in Afterlife. I'd have to go back and look, but whatever. And you get the trap, and yeah, you see a little bit of smoke here, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think we're getting any smoke. Would it be nice? Sure. Is it necessary? No. And then we have over here, this is the pneumatic line plug, or connector or something like that. This actually comes off so that you can actually plug in the line. As we see it down here, this is a 9-foot cord or cable which goes from the pedal to the trap, just like the actual ones. And that's how this is going to run. Now, in the story of Ghostbusters, this is supposed to be a pneumatic line, basically just an air hose. And when you look at the actual, let's see, we don't actually have a shot of the pedal on the other side, but it's in such a way that this is actually like, it's almost like it's a pump. The idea is you press down here, it blows air through and opens up the trap. The way that this is going to run is that you take off this pneumatic piece, or what's made to look like a pneumatic piece. It's made of plastic, and we're going to have an electronic cord, which is what this actually is. It plugs into there, so we'll need batteries for there and here in order to connect. And that's how it's looking, because you can actually kind of see the connectors a little bit down here. So we've got that. So scan from the original prop, ghost trap with removable cartridge, just like the original prop, working activation paddle, working high-powered internal LEDs. So that's where, like, we don't, the doors aren't open here. They're open here and they're open here, but you can kind of sort of see inside. There's basically, it's a plate of LEDs, which is fine. So, entertainment inspired sound effects. So basically, the sound effects of the props are going to be in these here. Now, just like with the Proton Pack, the speaker on it is a chintzy paper cone, and the fidelity on it is that of an AM radio. I'm completely expecting these two items to be of the same kind of thing, and that someone is going to come out with a method of updating it to something so that you actually have a little more of a meaty kind of, a fuller clarity or fidelity of the sound. So, premium metal finishes. Yeah, we'll get some metal parts, but it's going to be mostly plastic. 9-foot pedal to trap connection cable. Yeah. It's not a pneumatic hose like in the original story. It's a cable. So that's fine. Docking station display stand. That's actually kind of a good idea. Functioning die-cast metal wheels for remote deployment, basically, so you can roll it out across the floor and play Ghostbuster. Okay. Docking station display stand. Okay, that's very nice. That's so that you can actually display it. Functioning die-cast metal wheels for remote deployment. Ghostbusters to Ghostbusters 2 aesthetic conversion. I think that is dealing with these red pieces here, because you'll be getting a pack of two additional ones that are silver. So that's what I'm thinking there. And I think there might be something sound related with that. I could be wrong. So it's got Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and Afterlife modes. Okay, alright. Don't know what those modes are, but we'll find out. And it says, warning, don't look directly at the ghost trap's energy field. Well, yeah, in the original Ghostbusters, Ray says, okay, I'm opening the trap, don't look at the trap. And what does Egon immediately say? I'm looking at the trap, Ray. And that was the exact line. Now, you see, I'm odd with quotes. Alright, so then it goes on to discuss the stretch goals. 10,000 backers to fund the creepy design. 12,000 backers to manifest the startup unlock. which is this section right here. We get some ESP testing cards. We get a couple of stickers. We get a. Does it actually have the dimensions here? No, it's 24 by 27. So 24 inches by 27 inches. So you get this blueprint poster, and then you also get a no ghost patch, an actual embroidered no ghost patch. That's actually kind of nice. I actually have a no ghost patch already, but it's in all green and it's on my suit or my flight suit. Yeah. All right. So then we have 15,000 backers for the highly secure receptacle unlock. So after 15,000 backers, this is what we get. A holster for the trap, which I think is fantastic. And I love the fact that the belt loops, this will fit on my Battlestar Galactica utility belt. So I'm all set there. And then after we get 18,000 backers to unleash the psychokinetic energy detection unlock, which is a holster for the PKE meter. And you also get another embroidered patch of the mini puffs from Afterlife. Now, I've got mini puffs that I got from the Proton Pack, and I've got them on display because it's Halloween. So let's put them on display. Why not? I opened up the box and pulled them out, and I've got them on display, and those will be on until November 1st, and then I'll put them away. So there we go. So now, when it came to these numbers with the Proton Pack, it was 7,000 just to fund the project. It was 10,000 for the first tier, 12,000, and then 14 or no, it was 10, 14, 16 for the stretch goals, and of course, we meaning the backers, blew that out of the water with 19,063 orders, completable orders. So that's great and everything like that. So what they did with this HasLab project is they've upped those. We want you to really make it worthwhile. We'll go from 7,000 to 10,000 just to fund the campaign. Okay, and then we'll go 12, 15, and 18 for the stretch goals. Now looking at the Proton Pack project and everything like that, that was, who knows if they expected it to get blown out of the water, but it did. So of course, they're going to up the backer ante a little bit, and which is fine. But what I think is that there were a lot of people that later or after the campaign, definitely after it got released, looked at it and said, "This thing is really good. I really want it," or I couldn't back them up before, or I didn't back them up for one reason or another. I'm going to back up the next one. So here's the next one. I fully expect this one to get blown out of the water with backers also. Even more so than before. Of course, we only needed 7,000 before, and we ended up with over 19,000. Of course, they only want 10,000 backers. I'm expecting it. Let's see, it's 1028 right now. I'm gonna say over 30,000. So, when this gets released and we see what the final number is, or after the campaign ends on December 11th, excuse me, we'll see what that final number is, and hopefully 30,000. Yeah, that is a huge jump in a total number. However, there's enough fans out there of Ghostbusters, and considering what I saw after the Proton Pack and everything like that, we could easily break 30. So, and it's only day one. And, you know, we've got, how many up here do we have? Ooh, 7,264. So, you know, so that's pretty good and everything. So if I turn that back on and we shoot back over to it for a quick second, you know, 7,264 backers when I put on their target is 10,000. Let's just do a quick refresh to see how much higher this is. Now remember that 2,600. Yeah. 7,264. All right, let's see what that's changed to. 7,312. We may actually break 10,000 by the end of by midnight tonight. So that's really good. That's really good. I really hope this really works out and everything. So, and of course, this is just day one. If you don't count yesterday when it started, but we're still within that first 24-hour period. So this is day one, and it's October 28th. We have until December 11th. Make the call. I'll say 30,000. We'll go on that. We'll see how close or how far away we get from it. And so on the 12th, I'll go back. I'll look at this project page and see what the final number is, and maybe I'll do a quick little video like this for that. So there we go. Step outside for a second. Just have a breather of sorts, and you know, feel the sun. And the sun is definitely out. It's a relatively clear sky out, and it is hot. I may actually have to fire up the AC for a little bit, but anyhow. That's basically the end of this vlog. Nothing really special going on in my life necessarily outside of that. I was a backer before, and I'm going to be a backer again. I watched for it, and you know, and I like within the first hour of the campaign starting, I backed it up. So there we go. So I'll be one of the first ones. I'll get one of the first ones made. And I should know, based on the proton pack, I did it like I said before. I think I did it within a day after the campaign began, and I'm number 500. So I'm expecting a relatively low serial number on these items. I'm hoping they get serialized. I think the trap will be at least. Maybe even the meter. If not, no big deal, but in either sense. Okay, sorry. Granted, it was like that for you, but you know, I took another 5 to 10 minute break. Oh, because my head's worn out. So, but either way. Oh, I just got my hair cut a couple weeks ago. And it's looking like I need it again. Well, there is such a thing as too short. Anyways, but I'm going to end it there. But outside of, actually one last thing. Am I going to do videos about these things, the trap and the PKE meter, like I did with the proton pack? Yes, I'm going to. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be broken down into 3 videos. They'll all be part of SATURQuest, so they'll be added onto that playlist. So for everybody, and I look forward to it. But however, that's not going to be for another year, because, like the campaign description was saying, it's not actually going to be ready for shipping until late fall next year, 24. So, there we go. I've also got another special event in, not my hometown, but the one next door, in 24, dealing with a time capsule. and I want to be there for that. So there's some people I have to talk to. Tell them, hey, this is coming up. Might want to let someone know, and hopefully folks remembered. There we go. I want to be part of that. Will that be a Quest New Hampshire kind of thing? Possibly. I don't know. I'm not gonna put it on the project board right now, because it is so far off. Same thing with these Buster Quests. But yeah, off the top of my head, I'm thinking it's going to be 3 videos. And of those 3 videos will be the unboxing of the arrival, and then a video on the unboxing of each individual piece. So, one video for the strap, one video for the meter. Because, and you may very well agree with me, I talk too long and not very fast. Because when it comes to different things on videos, people just go like a bat out of hell when talking. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, you can keep up usually, but they talk so fast. I prefer to talk, clearly and concisely. Thanks, Dad. So anyhow, so will they be long videos? I can't tell. They might be, they might not be. Hoping the PKE meter at least probably won't be. The trap may be a little different, but in the sense. The general unboxing, similar to how I did the Atari VCS, same approach. And people will look at that and they'll be like, hey, it's not an unboxing unless you take the things out of the box. Yes, I'll be taking the product boxes out of the shipping box. That's an unboxing. Sorry. So, and also, how do you get people to come back to see more videos? Yeah, there you go. When it comes to certain things, and yeah, it's like, I'm not one of those types to be like, hey, let's play on people's emotions, let's play on their blah, blah, blah. I'm not like that, but at the same time, I'm like, I came from a job that has a huge marketing area and stuff like that. No, I wasn't involved with them at all. I dealt with credit card disputes. I was a trainer. I'm a pilot. I can teach people to play. I taught someone how to drive. And they own their own car now. So it's great. In either sense. It's like, it's, you want to create videos that people will come back and see. If they like you enough and they subscribe to you enough, then maybe they'll come back and see you again. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends. I'm subscribed to a few channels that I don't bother watching. I think mainly because I don't see anything interesting coming out for them. But I'm not exactly ready to unsubscribe. If you get my drift. I don't know. But in either sense. So that is SATURQuest for today. And we'll catch you on the next video. So thank you very much. Skál. Take it easy. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.